In recent years, sports analysis has come a long way in football, even at National League level. Today we're going behind the scenes with Chesterfield FC club analyst Daniel Evans. He's going to talk us through his week and the sort of equipment he uses.
Hi, my name's Daniel Evans. I'm first team analyst at Chesterfield Football Club. I'll just briefly take you through a week in the life of an analyst. The usual week for an analyst starts on a game day. So on a Saturday, I'd come in, I'd film the game. I'd also live code during the game. So I have a specific live code window which I use software called Naxbot, which is a performance analyst software. On this software, I'm able to create a template to focus on specific key performance indicators that the management team would want to look at half time. So in terms of live coding, I keep it very basic. We'll look at shots on target, crosses into the box, attacking third edges, all that set plays. At half time, I then go down into the changing rooms, show the management team anything they want to see. If they then want to show any of the players anything at half time, we can do that as well. Again, finish filming the second half, and then post game I then get the file from the camera like so, just a normal Sony Handycam, take all the footage off there, combine it into one file, make it a reasonable size. I then upload that onto our sharing platform. We have a sharing platform called In Play Online, which all the players have access to. So once I've uploaded the game, each player can watch the full game. Then after the game, I would then go through the game and get more in-depth information, sort of how many times we've attacked down the left channels, how many times we've attacked down the right channel, penalty box entries, quite in-depth information, again for any of the management team to then use on a Monday if we're going to do an analysis session. I'd then also give my intern responsibility. I'd get him to get the individual clips for all the players and some basic stats with that as well. Once I've done my clipping and my intern's done theirs, I can then upload our clips onto the in-play system, so all players get access to their own individual clips and anything that's occurred during the game. So that's everything we do post-game, and then on a Monday morning, it doesn't always happen, but we may have some form of debrief after the game if the management team wants to go through something, if just highlight something specific that they feel like they need to focus on, like the lads know, we then go through that on the Monday. And then going on to my later week as an analyst, I'd compile an opposition report as seen here on the opposition we're going to be playing the following Saturday, the following Tuesday. This opposition report consists of a squad list, so basic information in terms of playing positions that each player has played over the span of their career, their age, their height, and sort of career statistics in terms of how many games played this season over the whole career, goals and previous clubs. And then a lot of information on the previous clubs, how many goals they've scored. Moving on, information on injuries, suspension, any other information I feel the management team would find relevant for the opposition we're about to play. Moving on, I get some stats on the opposition. So again, quite basic stuff, current league position, a results breakdown on how they've done home and away, information on the top goal scorers, information on their last 5 games played, and where their goals have come from, whether they've come from set plays, counter-attacks, build-up attacks or penalties, and also the times of the goals. Are they a team that concede quite a lot of goals late on in games, which is a big indicator that they're not a fit side, or do they start games very brightly and score the majority in the first 15 minutes? Moving on, we do main headers of the ball, which the management team then use to then designate markers during set plays. So I identify who's the best header of the ball for the opposition. They then, when it comes to the game and they've got the lineup, they can then identify he's starting, he's the best header, we'll put our best defensive header with him in terms of a marker. Moving on, I then provide information on the last 3 games of the opposition, the formation, both in and out of possession, the subs made, who scored, any bookings. And then finally, in terms of the opposition report, I'll do some set play diagrams. So I'll probably end up analysing about 20 corners. I'll decide which ones to use most frequently and which ones are most successful at. I'll then do some set play diagrams for the management team to get a bit of a visual representation of it. I'll do that with wide free kicks, central free kicks, long throws, and also defending set plays. The last thing on the opposition report is I try and predict the opposition starting 11. in terms of formation, in terms of personnel as well. Then the management team to then decide for the current training week how they want to set up in terms of team shape, knowing what they're coming up against. So that's one part of the opposition. I'll then usually watch 3 games on the opposition. So say this coming Saturday we played Charlie at home, so as Charlie would be the away side, I watched 2 away games of Charlie and then 1 home game, so just in case there's a difference in the way they play home and away, so I can identify that. I then create an analysis video to be shown to the players either on the Friday or the game. The analysis video will comprise of their current form, the formation they're most likely to play, what they do from their own goalkeeper in terms of goal kicks. Did it play out from the back, or did it go along to a specific player, and is it that player to flick on, who the runners in behind, so they get as much information for each phase during a game as possible. Moving on, I'll identify between 3 or 4 of their main strengths and 3 or 4 of their main weaknesses. So it just gives players a brief insight into the opposition they're going to come up against on Saturday without overdosing too much information when they're thinking, oh my god, they're going to do this in this situation. It's a bit of a mind boggle, especially at this level in the National League. As you go higher up in the leagues, you'll probably find analysis videos to last between some, to split it into in-play, out-play and set play, and it can equate to about 30 minutes. Mine, I like to get it between 6 and 10 minutes because I feel like they're able to gain all that information at a specific time and take it in. The last probably bit of my analysis jobs is I provide the goalkeepers with all the penalty information on the main penalty takers for the opposition, and I also provide them with some specific set play clippings as well for them to watch at their own time. My analysis services also extend to providing players with one-to-one services if they require it, going through their individual clips, having a chat, and also going in to see the management team provide them with clippings. In terms of the opposition stuff, we use a whole host of different softwares. We use Y-Scout, which are the main ones, and also Scout 7. And in terms of my weekly structure, I think that's about it. So a bit on us post-game, during the game as well, and in terms of the opposition, that's where the main focus comes with creating the opposition report and also creating the analysis video. Alongside this, in terms of the opposition report, this one is solely for the management team. I would then take information from this and the games I've watched and create a fact sheet for the players, a A3 size fact sheet which gives information on the last starting 11, the strengths and weaknesses in each individual, what the side they're going to come up against is likely to do in and out of possession, and also some statistics. So it just gives the players something to read before a game and to take in a bit more information than what they've been shown via the video. And that's about it. That sums up the week in the life as an analyst at Chesterfield FC. Thank you very much.
As you can see, and what you heard from Dan there, a lot of detail goes into providing the correct information for the players. The ultimate aim is to get the edge over the opponents. So these tiny details can be critical in getting the correct result for the football club. We're now going to go on and have a look at team meetings and what they provide for the players and the management. Team meetings now involve a lot of sports analysis. The analysts will go through a few different things to show the players what the strengths and weaknesses are of the different teams they're playing. We'll find out all sorts of information, and this is often done the day before the game or sometimes on the day, as Dan explains.
Yeah, as Jonathan says, we usually have the video prepared for, say, Thursday. We then go through the video with the management team to make sure everything's prim and proper. We then either go through it with the players on a Friday or a Saturday. It's all down to the manager. In terms of the content of the video, we'll start off with just a front screen like that, the opposition, the date of the fixture, and then moving on, we just give them a bit of an insight into the home and away form. So here with Charlie, they've not won a game away from home, and obviously they're playing us, so that was a big factor going into the game. Moving on, we then focus a little bit on formation. So like I say, we like to split it into in possession, so they're usually 3-5-2, and then focus a little bit on out possession. Charlie usually drop back into 5-3-2, but if they're under cosh, potentially another striker will drop back into make a 5-4-1. And then from that, I'll show them some visualisations of each formation, as I'll show you here. but it just pauses it, so it just gives the players a little feel and a visual representation of the formation they're going to be coming up against. And then moving on, we'll go on to goalkeeper distribution. I'll provide the goalkeeper's name, I'll provide what the length of his kick's going to be like and what's his preferred foot. We then focus on goal kicks to start with. So with Charlie, the majority of their goal kicks went long to the striker Misanka, and they either had one or two runners going off his flick-ons. And then out of hands and with feet in open play, a bit of a mixture of both, where they do look to sometimes play out to centre backs and go through the thirds, or they'll do the same as above, going to Misanka with the runners off them. And then again, as I did with the formations, just showing them a few clips of that, not going into too much detail, overloading them with so many of the same clips, just one of each one that I've stated in the previous slide. Then once I've done that, I'm going through all of the goalkeeper distribution. We'll move on to their strengths. So I'll just provide you with one. Balls in behind for the forwards playing on the shoulders. So after provided with something like this, either myself or the management team will talk through it briefly. So whenever they regain possession centre of the pitch, their centre mid's first thought was always to play in behind the strikers, like to play on the shoulders and get in behind us. And then once I've explained that in a little bit more detail, I'll provide either 2 or 3 clips of what I've just stated. And again, I'll do the same. I'll probably 3 or 4 strengths, 3 or 4 weaknesses, depending on the team we're playing. If I feel like they've got lots of strengths, I might even include 5. If I feel like they've got lots of strengths that might hurt us, I'll include more of them. And then finally, moving on, after I've gone through all the strengths and weaknesses, we'll then focus a bit on set plays, which is a massive thing in football because it can account for probably roughly 30% of the goals that occur during a football game. And then I'll just give them a bit of basic information. So Charlie, 43% of their goals scored this season have come from their own set plays, which is a massive amount, so this is a massive strength for theirs. I'll then provide some examples, again stating who the main takers are, what's the preferred foot, and then we'll go into more detail of what areas like to hit, who are the main attacking threats, whether there's any blockers in there, what different areas do the target, is there anyone on the edge for the second ball. And then again, on the flip side of it, looking at defending, are they man-to-man marking, are they zonal marking, if they are markers only, which zones to the mark, what's the goalkeeper like if they put the ball on him, them sort of key, smaller information which could make a massive difference during the game. And then once we've concluded the video, we then put it out to the players, we'll have a little discussion, the manager will say his bit as well, and then we'll leave it at that going into the game. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching today. I hope we've given you a little insight into the world of sports analysis here at Chesterfield FC. Our thanks to Daniel Evans, the sports analysis, who's provided us with unseen footage. And tune in again for more Not Just Talent content.